A young woman says El Cajon police forced their way into her apartment without a warrant and handcuffed her on the ground, all based on a bad 911 tip. She wanted an apology, but instead, officers gave her a ticket.
NBC7 investigative reporter Alexis Rivas looked into what she says happened and also asked experts what you should do if police knock on your front door and you did not call them.
So the door was like this, it was open.
26-year-old Alexis Padilla says she was home alone when she heard loud banging on her front screen door. Standing on the other side was El Cajon Police Corporal Philip Disk.
I literally told him, I was like, I'm home alone, there's nobody here.
It was around 10:30 in the morning on a Saturday in January when El Cajon police records show someone called 911. The caller said they heard a couple fighting and a woman screaming, "Get off me, get off me." The caller said it came from Padilla's apartment. The police dispatcher marked that call as domestic violence.
And I told him, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, it might be my TV, but I promise you, like, I'll turn it down. There's nobody home.
Padilla says at the time of the 911 call, she was home alone. Her roommate had already left.
I felt like my rights were taken away. I felt like an animal.
She says what happened next compelled her to call NBC7 Investigates.
So you closed this door then?
Actually, before I closed the door, he said, can I come in and check and search? And I said, no, you're not allowed to. I'm home alone. I don't feel safe.
Padilla says she closed the door and walked back to her room, only to hear loud banging again. This time, when she answered her door,
he grabs my door like this. And I try to close it. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's pulling on my door.
Padilla says Corporal Disk quickly overpowered her, and before she knew it, they were both in her living room.
He's pushing me, and I'm fighting with him. I'm like, stop, stop, there's nobody here. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Padilla says she ran to her bedroom where Disk and another officer chased her and handcuffed her.
I'm on the ground in my room, faced on the ground.
She showed us the bruises she says are from her scuffle with police, still visible more than a week later. But even though officers quickly confirmed she was home alone, she says she stayed handcuffed for nearly an hour.
So I'm sitting on the ground like this, just detained.
And before police left, Padilla got a ticket for a misdemeanor, obstructing a police officer.
Honestly, I felt like he was just upset because I did tell him no and I closed the door and then he didn't want to leave. It was like a power play to me. I felt like he violated my rights for no reason.
We reached out to El Cajon police, but they didn't want to comment about what happened inside Padilla's apartment. A police spokesman said they're still considering her case an active investigation, which is why they also won't release any body camera video.
Having to force your way to investigate a DV call, it's just not that common. It just isn't.
Cameron Gary would know. He retired after 30 years as a law enforcement officer. Gary says he was dispatched to a domestic violence call several times a week.
I have never, with maybe one or two exceptions, had a person not let us in. You know, when we tell them that, hey, you know, I have to check. We can't leave. I have to check. And there's ways that you can talk to people, let them know that. And most people are pretty reasonable about that. It's just about how you package it.
Normally, police can't force their way inside your home without either first getting your consent or, if not, a warrant. But if a crime might be happening or someone might be in immediate danger, under the law, police are required to act. It's called exigent circumstances, and 911 calls concerning possible domestic violence are always considered exigent.
Police have a obligation, a legal as well as a moral, ethical obligation to take some action.
Gary says if officers have to force their way inside to do that, there's a good reason why people also get detained.
You're entering a person's home. You don't know who's in the house. You don't know if she's running to go get a weapon. You don't know if she's the suspect or the victim. You don't know any of that.
But San Diego criminal defense attorney David Shapiro says there are limits to what police can do under the law.
When police knock on your door, you have many rights. The home is the most sacred place that you have as it relates to privacy.
He says even under exigent circumstances, like potential domestic violence, even then, if police bust through your door,
it does not give law enforcement the opportunity just to come in your house and stay there indefinitely.
Shapiro says those special exigent circumstances, allowing police the right to search your home, and full stop the second a reasonable person could determine there's no crime happening and no one in immediate danger. in a small apartment the size of Padilla's? Shapiro says that should have only taken a couple of minutes.
The issue is, at what point did they cross the line?
Shapiro says in this case, he's skeptical whether police even still had the right to force their way in.
If there was a positive interaction with law enforcement that said, I'm fine, I'm the only one here, there's a really strong argument that if an exigency existed when the door was closed, it went away when the door was opened.
As for Padilla's misdemeanor, Shapiro says an obstruction charge only holds up if you delay an officer from doing their lawful duty. Keywords, lawful duty. If officers are inside your home unlawfully, outside the scope of exigent circumstances, you have the right to act reasonably to prevent them from doing their job.
On its face, it's not a good look for El Cajon police.
There's ways you can manage it without it getting, going totally off the rails like this. I just don't believe you have to fight your way through everything. I don't think that's the way to do it. And I don't think that the public expects that or wants that, frankly.
Padilla says she hasn't been able to sleep and is now looking to move outside El Cajon, anywhere with a different police department.
I felt violated. I felt unheard.
Afraid of how she'd be treated should she need to call 911 because of how she was treated the day she didn't.
This is horrible. This is exactly why people are afraid of the police. This is why they don't want to go for help.
In El Cajon, Alexis Rivas, NBC7 investigates.
Now, we asked our experts for some advice in case you find yourself at home and police ask to search your home and you didn't call them. They said be polite and respectful. Ask them for a warrant. If officers claim exigent circumstances, call 911 and verify the officers are who they say they are. Experts say you should tell them that you want to document and record their search and take video of what officers are doing inside your home. Never threaten officers, they say, and don't let officers search beyond the scope of what they said they were there to search. They say respectfully tell them to leave in that case and get a warrant.